I woke up to the faint buzz of my phone on the nightstand, the sun barely creeping through the blinds of our new apartment in Austin. My suit from the wedding was still slung over a chair, wrinkled from the reception that ran until 2 a.m. The place was a mess, boxes of gifts stacked in the corner, cards with "Congrats, Mr. and Mrs. Carter," spilling glitter onto the hardwood, and a half-eaten red velvet cake on the kitchen counter. I was still in my dress shirt, untucked and unbuttoned, when I saw her. Claire stood by the front door, her rolling suitcase parked beside her like a loyal dog. Her blonde hair was pulled into a tight bun, her makeup sharp enough for a photo shoot, red lipstick, winged eyeliner, the works. But her eyes weren't soft or warm. They were hard, like she was daring me to step in her way. "I'm flying to Vegas with the girls," she said, her voice cool and clipped, like she was reading a script. "This is my last shot at freedom, Ethan, and you're not part of it." I blinked, my brain scrambling to process. "What do you mean, Vegas?" I said, keeping my voice low, steady, though my pulse was starting to climb. "We got married yesterday. You're telling me you're bailing already?" She glanced at her phone, checking the time, like I was a meeting she was late for. "Tickets are booked. I'm not discussing this. I'll be back in a couple days. Don't make it a thing." She blew me an air kiss, her lips curling into something closer to a smirk than a smile, and walked out. The door clicked shut, leaving me standing in the middle of our new life, surrounded by unopened toasters and forever and always mugs. I didn't move for a good minute. My mind was racing, but I wasn't about to chase her down the hall like some desperate puppy. Instead, I grabbed my phone and called her. Once, twice, 5 times, straight to voicemail. Finally, a text popped up. "I need this. Don't be clingy." Clingy? I laughed, short and bitter. This wasn't clingy. This was me trying to figure out what the hell my wife was thinking, ditching me 12 hours after we said, "I do." She wants freedom? Fine. Let's see how she likes it when I don't beg her to come back. I needed a reality check, so I called Claire's sister, Jess. She picked up on the second ring, her voice quiet, like she was hiding in a closet. "Hey, Ethan. Everything okay?" "No, Jess, it's not," I said, pacing the living room, stepping over a box of crystal wine glasses we'd never use. "Claire just walked out. Said she's going to Vegas with her friends. For her last freedom." "What's going on? Did I miss a memo?" There was a long pause, the kind that tells you bad news is coming. "She planned it a while ago," Jess said finally, her voice heavy with guilt. "Like, months back. I thought she'd cancel after the wedding." "I'm sorry, Ethan. I should have told you." I stopped pacing, my grip tightening on the phone. "Months." My voice was flat, but inside, my brain was doing flips. She planned to ditch me the day after our wedding for months and didn't think to mention it. "She said it was just a girl's trip," Jess mumbled, like she was trying to convince herself. "I didn't think she'd actually go." "Thanks for the heads up," I said, my tone sharp but controlled. I hung up, not mad at Jess but done with the excuses. I opened Instagram, because apparently that's where you go to figure out what your wife's thinking these days. Her story was already up, Claire by a pool at some glitzy Vegas hotel, cocktail in hand, laughing, with a caption, "Finally free. Don't wait up." A guy's hand holding a drink flashed in the frame for half a second. My stomach didn't drop. It tightened, like I was gearing up for a fight. I didn't call her again. Instead, I texted my buddy Ryan. "You free tonight? Need a soda and a sane person." I wasn't about to sit in this apartment, staring at her untouched wedding gifts, waiting for her to decide I was worth her time. Ryan met me at a dive bar off 6th Street, a place with sticky floors, neon signs, and a jukebox that only played Willie Nelson. My other friend, Mike, tagged along, already cracking jokes about my honeymoon glow. I didn't laugh. "All right, man," Ryan said, cracking open a soda and leaning back in the booth. "Spill. What's got you looking like someone stole your truck?" I laid it out. Claire's exit, the suitcase, the Instagram story with the mystery hand. Mike snorted, shaking his head. "She's got some balls. Day after the wedding? That's not a trip, that's a statement." "It's not a statement," I said, my voice sharp, cutting through the bar's hum. "It's a choice. She chose to walk out without a word. That's not a game. That's her saying, I don't matter." Ryan raised an eyebrow, sipping his soda. "So what's your move? You gonna sit here and stew? Or you got a plan?" I took a long pull from my soda, the fizz burning my throat. I'm not stewing. I'm thinking. She wants to play like she's single? Cool. I'm not chasing her. Let's see how she likes it when I live my life without her permission. Mike grinned, his eyes lighting up. That's the spirit. You want to really get under her skin? Post something. Show her you're not crying in a corner. I shook my head, leaning forward. Nah, I'm not playing her Instagram game. I'm not posting cryptic crap to get a reaction. I'm just done waiting for her to act like my wife. Ryan set his soda down, his voice serious for once. Look, Ethan, I'm not saying you should have seen this coming, but Claire's always been like this. She pushes, you bend. She tests, you pass. Maybe it's time to stop taking her exams. His words hit like a jab. Claire had always pushed boundaries. Little jabs about my work hours, subtle digs about my boring routines, seeing how far she could go before I pushed back. I'd let it slide, thinking it was just her being spontaneous. But this was a line. Let's get out of here, I said, standing up, my keys already in my hand. You guys ever been to the coast? Mike blinked, caught off guard. Like now? Yeah, now, I said, my voice firm. California. Santa Cruz. Weekend trip. No phones, no drama. Just us. Ryan laughed, slamming his hand on the table. Hell yeah. Let's roll. She wants space? I'll give her an ocean's worth. We piled into my F-150 and hit the road for Santa Cruz. No itinerary, just the open highway, the smell of salt air, and a playlist of Springsteen and Tom Petty. We rented a cheap Airbnb near the boardwalk, a weathered bungalow with a creaky deck and a rusty grill out back. Saturday evening, we were out there, flipping burgers, the ocean roaring in the distance. Mike was trying to tell a story about a fishing trip gone wrong, but Ryan kept interrupting, laughing about how Mike always exaggerated. As I tossed another patty on the grill, Ryan leaned back in a folding chair, squinting at me. So, Ethan, he said, his tone half serious, half teasing. You really thought Claire was ready for the whole wife thing? I mean, come on, man. She's always been a lot. I paused, spatula in hand, the sizzle of the grill filling the silence. I knew she was complicated. High maintenance, sure. But I didn't think she'd pull a stunt this big. I figured she'd settle in, I said, keeping my voice even. Guess I overestimated her. Mike snorted, flipping a burger. Understatement of the year. She's out there living her best life while you're stuck with glittery gift boxes. I smirked, shaking my head. Not stuck anymore. She wants to play single? I'm not her anchor. Ryan raised his soda, grinning. That's my boy. That night, my phone lit up with Claire's name. I was on the deck, the air cool, waves crashing in the dark. I answered, keeping my voice steady. What's up, Claire? Where the hell are you? She snapped, her voice dripping with venom. You're out gallivanting while I'm on this trip? I laughed, low and cold, leaning back in my chair. Gallivanting? That's cute, Claire. You're in Vegas, posting about your freedom with some dude's hand in your story. I'm just taking a drive with my friends. What's your problem? She sputtered, caught off guard. You're my husband, Ethan. You don't get to just disappear. Disappear? I said, my voice steady but sharp, like a knife sliding clean. You left me in our apartment the day after our wedding. You didn't ask, you didn't talk, you just walked. So don't lecture me about disappearing. You wrote the playbook. She went quiet for a second, then came back softer, trying a different angle. Ethan, come on. This isn't you. You're overreacting. Just come home. I smirked, though she couldn't see it. Nah, I'm good. Enjoy your freedom, Claire. Don't wait up. I hung up before she could respond, my pulse steady, my mind clear. Ryan, who'd overheard, clapped me on the shoulder. Damn, man. Cold, but clean. Mike raised his soda. To Ethan, who just won round one. Round one. Maybe. But I'm not playing her game. I'm rewriting the rules. I got back to Austin Sunday night. The apartment still a shrine to our wedding. Gift bags, cards, that damn cake going stale on the counter. Claire wasn't due back until Monday, so I had time to think. I wasn't angry anymore, just focused. She'd drawn a line, and I was done stepping over it. I walked through the place, taking stock. The apartment was in my name, leased before we got engaged. The wedding? My savings covered 80%. Her parents chipped in for flowers and a few decorations, nothing else. The gifts? Half were from my family and friends, some still in boxes labeled, Our Future, in Claire's loopy handwriting. I stared at one, a set of wine glasses, the label mocking me. Our future? Yeah, right. I started sorting. Her clothes went into the guest room, folded neatly, her shoes lined up by the door. I kept my stuff separate, my books, my tools, the desk I'd had since college. The joint stuff was trickier. The couch we'd picked out together? Comfortable, but I'd paid for it. The TV? Same deal. The projector she'd begged for, the one we were supposed to use for movie nights? That was mine too. I pulled out my phone and opened eBay. Snapped a quick photo of the projector, still in its box, and listed it. Brand new, never used. Wife's loss, your gain. I set the starting bid low, knowing it'd sell fast. The couch was a tougher call. I sat on it, running my hand over the fabric, remembering how Claire had insisted on gray because it matched her vibe. Her vibe. I snorted. Part of me wanted to keep it, just to spite her, but I didn't need it where I was going. I called my buddy Dave, who owned a moving company. Can you pick up a couch and some other stuff? I'll pay for storage. Yo, Ethan, Dave said, sounding confused. You moving out already? Not moving, I said, my voice calm, methodical. Just reorganizing. I need my stuff out of here. By Monday morning, the place was half empty. The couch was gone. The TV donated to a local shelter. The projector sold in under an hour, cash already in my PayPal. I canceled the joint credit card we'd opened for shared expenses and transferred the wedding savings, my savings, back to my personal account. I packed Claire's remaining things into boxes, labeling one her life, no return, in black Sharpie. It felt petty, but it also felt right. I left a note on the fridge, short and cold. You wanted freedom. You got it. Apartment's yours. Good luck. When Claire walked through the door Monday afternoon, her suitcase hit the floor with a thud. Her face twisted in shock, her eyes darting from the bare living room to the stack of boxes. What the hell is this, Ethan? She said, her voice loud, edged with panic. I leaned against the kitchen counter, sipping a soda, my tone casual but firm. Welcome back. Good trip. Don't play cute, she snapped, stepping closer, her eyes wild. Where's our stuff? The couch? The TV? My projector. Your projector? I said, raising an eyebrow, my voice steady. I paid for it. Just like I paid for the wedding, the honeymoon we didn't take, and this lease. So I sold what was mine. Your stuff's in the guest room. The apartment's yours if you want it. I'm done. Her jaw dropped, and for a second, she looked genuinely rattled. You're done? She said, her voice rising, cracking with disbelief. What does that even mean? You can't just undo everything. I set my soda down, slow and deliberate, my eyes locked on hers. You undid it, Claire. The second you decided our marriage was a pit stop on your way to Vegas. You didn't ask. You didn't care. So why should I? She stepped closer, her voice rising, laced with that fake hurt she was so good at. I needed one weekend, Ethan. One. And you're acting like I betrayed you. You did, I said, my voice hard but calm, cutting through her noise. Not because you went. Because you planned it behind my back, posted it like a middle finger, and then had the nerve to call me out for living my life. You don't get to set the rules and cry when I don't follow them. Her eyes narrowed, and she switched tactics, her voice dropping to a mocking tone. Oh, poor Ethan. Can't handle his wife having fun. You're so insecure. I laughed, loud and sharp, cutting her off. Insecure? Nah, Claire. I'm just not your doormat. You want to talk insecurity? Let's talk about you needing a Vegas trip to feel free from a marriage you chose. That's not freedom. That's running. She flinched, her face reddening, but she didn't back down. You're blowing this out of proportion. It was a girl's trip. You're making it something it's not. Then why didn't you tell me? I said, my voice low, steady, pinning her in place. Why'd you plan it for months and not say a word? Why'd you post finally free, like I'm some chain you needed to break? Explain that, Claire. I'll wait. She opened her mouth, then closed it, her eyes darting away. You're twisting this, she muttered, but there was no fire in it. No, I said, stepping closer, my voice cold and clear. You twisted it when you decided I'm not worth a conversation. So here's the deal. You've got your freedom. This apartment's yours. I'm out. Good luck. I grabbed my keys and walked past her, her suitcase still sitting by the door. She grabbed my arm, her voice desperate now. Ethan, wait. You can't just leave like this. We're married. I turned, looking her dead in the eyes, my voice quiet but hard as steel. You should have thought about that before you booked your ticket. The next few days were a storm of calls and texts. Claire blew up my phone. Missed calls, voice messages, texts ranging from angry to pleading. "You're being ridiculous," she shouted in one voicemail, her voice shrill. "It was just a trip. You're ruining everything." Then, softer, in another, "Ethan, please. I didn't mean it like that. Can we talk?" I didn't respond. Not because I was sulking, but because I'd said what I needed to say. She'd made her choice, and I'd made mine. I crashed at Ryan's place, sleeping on his lumpy couch, and started looking for a new apartment. I wasn't running. I was moving forward. Wednesday night, I met up with Ryan and Mike again, this time at a coffee shop downtown. Mike was scrolling through his phone, grinning. "Yo, you see this? Claire's friend Sarah posted about the Vegas trip. Looks like a mess. Bunch of drunk girls yelling at a bartender. Real classy." I shrugged, stirring my coffee. "Not my circus, not my monkeys." Ryan leaned back, studying me. "You're handling this better than I would. She's still texting you, right?" "Yeah," I said, my voice flat. "She's trying every angle. Anger, guilt, tears. I'm not biting." "Good," Ryan said, nodding. "She's testing you, man. Seeing if you'll crack." "Don't." "I won't," I said, my tone firm. "I'm not her backup plan. She wants to keep pushing buttons? Let her push. I'm not plugged in anymore." Friday night, I got a call from Jess. "Ethan, you need to know something," she said, her voice tense. "Claire's at some bar with her friends, talking about you. Like, loudly. Sarah's there, and she's egging her on. I just thought you should know." I sighed, rubbing my temple. "Thanks, Jess. Where?" She told me the spot, a trendy place downtown called the Rusty Spur. I didn't want to go, but I wasn't about to let Claire turn me into the villain in her story. I grabbed my jacket and headed over, Ryan tagging along for backup. The bar was packed, music thumping, lights low. I spotted Claire at a high-top table with Sarah, her friend Lauren, and some other girl I didn't know. They were laughing too loud, drinks in hand, Claire in the middle of a rant, her voice carrying over the noise. "Ethan's such a control freak," she said, her tone mocking, her words slurring slightly. "He flipped out over a girl's trip. Can you believe he sold our stuff? Like, who does that?" Sarah cackled, tossing her hair. "God, what a loser. You're better off without him, babe. He's probably crying in his mom's basement right now." Lauren chimed in, her voice sharp. "Seriously, Claire, you're too good for him. He's just jealous you're living your life." I stepped up to the table, my voice calm but loud enough to cut through. "Funny, Claire, I don't remember you calling me a control freak when I was paying for your dream wedding. Or this apartment. Or that projector you never even used." The table went quiet. Claire's eyes widened, her gaze darting around like she was looking for an exit. A couple at the next table turned to look, and someone in the crowd let out a low chuckle. Sarah recovered first, smirking, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Oh, look, the man of the hour. Come to cry in public, Ethan?" I turned to her, my voice steady, a slight smile tugging at my lips. "Sarah, I'd cry, but I'm too busy living my life. You should try it sometime instead of riding Claire's coattails. Must be exhausting, always being the hype girl." The chuckle from the crowd grew louder, and Sarah's smirk faltered, her cheeks flushing. Lauren jumped in, pointing a manicured finger at me. "You don't get to talk to her like that. You're the one who bailed on your wife." "Bailed?" I said, raising an eyebrow, my tone cool. "Claire bailed the day after our wedding. Planned it for months, didn't tell me. Then posted finally free, like I'm her parole officer. That's not a wife. That's a roommate with an agenda." Claire's face reddened, her voice shaking as she tried to interrupt. "You're twisting this, Ethan. It was just a..." She stopped mid-sentence, her eyes flicking to her friends, then back to me, like she'd lost her script. "Just a what, Claire?" I said, my voice low, pinning her in place. "A girl's trip? Then why'd you hide it? Why'd you post it like a middle finger? Explain that." "I'll wait." Her mouth opened, then closed, her eyes darting again. The crowd was watching now, a few phones out, recording the drama. Someone muttered, "Oof, she's done." Claire's hands gripped her glass, her knuckles white. "You're making a scene," she hissed, her voice low but unsteady. I laughed, short and sharp, drawing more eyes. "Me? You're the one airing our marriage to a bar full of strangers. Tell me, Claire, how's that freedom working out? You look real happy." Her friends shifted uncomfortably, Sarah staring at her drink, Lauren suddenly fascinated by her phone. Claire leaned forward, her voice desperate now. Ethan, stop. This isn't what I wanted. Can we just talk? I stepped back, looking her dead in the eyes, my voice cold and final. You wanted freedom, Claire. You got it. Don't call me when you realize it's not what you thought. I turned and walked out, Ryan at my side, the bar's noise fading behind me. A few people clapped as we passed, and Ryan slapped my back, grinning. That was a knockout, man. She didn't stand a chance. She wanted a fight? She got one, and I didn't even raise my voice. I moved out the next day. The apartment lease was in my name, so I terminated it, got my deposit back, and left Claire to deal with the fallout. Her stuff was still there, neatly packed, with my note on the fridge. She didn't take it well. My phone blew up with voicemails, screaming, crying, accusing me of ruining everything. One message stood out, her voice shaking with rage. You're destroying our marriage, Ethan. It was just a trip. You're so selfish. I listened to it once, then texted back, my words short and cold. You broke it when you decided I'm not worth a conversation. I just made it official. She kept texting, alternating between apologies and insults. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, followed by, you're heartless, you know that? I didn't respond. I'd said my piece. A week later, I was settling into a new place, a small loft downtown, just enough space for me. I was at a coffee shop with Ryan when Claire's name popped up on my phone again. I sighed and answered, ready to end it. Ethan, she said, her voice soft, almost broken. Can we talk? In person? I messed up. I know that now. I leaned back in my chair, my tone calm but firm. What's there to talk about, Claire? You made your choice. I made mine. I didn't mean for it to go this far, she said, her voice trembling. I was just, I don't know, scared. I thought I needed space, but I didn't want to lose you. I laughed, low and cold, cutting through her words. Scared? You planned that trip for months. You posted, finally free, like I was your jailer. You don't get to play the victim now. She went quiet, then whispered, I'm sorry. I was wrong. Can we try again? I paused, letting the silence stretch, my voice steady when I spoke. You know, I could have forgiven you if you just talked to me, asked me, considered me, but you didn't. You decided I'm not worth your time. So here's my decision. We're done. You wanted freedom? Live with it. I hung up, blocked her number, and set my phone down. Ryan raised an eyebrow. You good? Yeah, I said, my voice even, a small smile tugging at my lips. Better than good. 6 months later, I'm in Denver. New job, new place, new life. The air's crisp here, the mountains close enough to clear my head on weekends. I don't check Claire's Instagram anymore, but Jess told me she's still in Austin, bouncing between friends' couches, posting vague quotes about growth and mistakes. Last week, I was back in Austin for a work meeting and stopped at a coffee shop. Claire was there, sitting alone, looking tired, her hair messier than usual, her smile forced. Ethan, she said, her voice soft, almost pleading. I didn't expect to see you. You look good. I nodded, my tone neutral. Thanks. You doing okay? She hesitated, her eyes searching mine. I messed up, Ethan. I know that now. I was stupid, thinking I needed to prove something. I'm sorry. I sipped my coffee, my mind clear, my voice calm. If she'd figured this out sooner, maybe there'd be something to salvage. But now, she's just a stranger who used to wear my ring. I appreciate the apology, Claire, I said, my tone steady, no warmth, no anger. But you made your choice. I made mine. I'm not going back. Her face fell, her voice barely a whisper. I get it. I just wish I'd done things differently. I stood up, grabbing my coat, my voice cold but not cruel. You wanted freedom, Claire. I hope it was worth it. I walked out, the bell above the door jingling behind me. The sun was bright, the air cool, and for the first time in a long time, I felt light.